On August 4th, hundreds of spectators gathered around the National War Memorial to mark the 100th year after Britain, and Canada in turn, entered into the First World War. Prime Minister Stephen Harper was at the center of the event, first inspecting the guard, and eventually placing a wreath in front of the tomb of the unknown soldier. Jerry Wharton, Honorary Dominion President of Anavets, describes what the ceremony meant to him and many other veterans.
It means a tremendous amount to me. This memorial represents the fallen from bygone wars. Now, most of my military service was spent, a lot of my military service in fact, was spent in peacekeeping, and therefore very few of my comrades were injured or killed. It brings back both happy and sometimes sad memories.
Canada's contribution to the conflict is well known. Roughly 620,000 volunteers signed up, many fighting in battles like the Somme, Passchendaele, and of course, Vimy Ridge. But at the Bytown Museum, Collections and Exhibitions Manager Grant Vogel has put together a more local perspective.
I wanted to tell the story of the real people of Ottawa and get that connection with the people who live here today and let them know that even though it's 100 years past, it really wasn't all that long ago. And I find that when people connect names and faces to a real story, then it becomes just that much more real, and it's not so much a historical event as a story about real people.
One of these real people is Lieutenant James Arthur Menzies, a Canadian pilot.
Yeah, so we have his flight log which details the daily training and operations. They went for this adventure and they had a sense of invincibility, but in the end it was quite a dangerous thing to be doing. And they're all kind of spoken to in more of a joking manner, and maybe that's his way of dealing with the actual serious nature of it, is to kind of brush it off as a joke. But one very serious note is at the end of the logbook, the date that he is killed, there's just this big red line across the page that says killed in action. So it really drives home, this was no joke. And this young man didn't come home.
August won't see the last of the commemorations. Both the Bytown Museum and Canadian War Museum have special events planned right up until 2018. After Monday's ceremony, Stephen Harper announced that the Honor Guard will be expanding its vigil in front of the War Memorial. Guards will now stand watch from April 9th, the anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, to remember and stay for the remainder of the war years. Eric Murphy, Centretown News.